You're in my domain, got the whole crowd screaming out our name. It's a blowout, it's a hurricane, it's over before you know it. While you're shaking, we're a dynasty in the making. We're the royalty, now we're breaking down the enemy. Move over, the soldiers. Take a swing, I can take a hit. If we die, it's fine, we live for this. It's all for this. We're gonna stand on top with our hands in the sky. Gonna raise our cup to the stadium lights. For the glory, for the glory. We celebrate.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Southern Broadcasting Gaming Network. I am Richard Harrison. In just a few minutes, Mr. Stephen Light will be joining me in the booth. But tonight we are here with the Old Glory Truck Series here at Homestead, Miami. They are going to be putting in 130 laps with about a 65% fuel, and 4 sets of tires, and 1 fast repair is all that they will get here tonight. Now, turn 4 and turn 2 have been a real nightmare for some of these drivers as we are getting ready to load in to grid. But they have been that has been a real nightmare for some of these drivers, and it will upset the truck very, very quickly. But this is the second race in the round of 8, so this is the last race until we move on to the championship, and it looks like we are getting ready to grid in, and we only have about 9 drivers on the track, and we'll go ahead and go through our qualifying order. And it looks like Chase Greer was able to grab the pole. Jared Stone is going to be sitting in second. Mark Kincaid is going to be in third, right behind Mr. Greer. Fourth is going to be Nathan Lafayette in that 00. Good to see him qualifying up in the top 5. Curtis Eckert going to be starting in 5th. Zach Stevens is going to be starting in 6th in that Daytona Hydro Dip. Chris Alkire going to be starting 7th. Marshall Johnson in 8th, and Billy Davison in 9th. That one Canadian, he says, this place scares me. And oh, Canadian, amen. Who's in the booth? It is me. All right, let me bring up Mr. Stephen Light and get him up in the broadcast booth. All right, Stephen, got you in the broadcast booth. You copy?
Yes, sir. You got me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, Stephen, looks like it's going to be a pretty interesting race, as you know, some of these drivers, are I think we only have one driver that's locked in, but Homestead, Miami, very tricky track coming off of turn 4, as you know the transition from embankment to flat surface, will upset these trucks. Tell us a little bit about your experience on Homestead.
Yeah, every series is different here. Next gen cars tend to like the bottom better. Xfinity cars pretty much run any line, just depends on where your balance is at. But the trucks, they have a tendency of wanting to run the top at the end of a long run. They seem to handle better up there. You can carry more speed longer, but you can run the bottom, especially for qualifying. Qualifying is usually where the speed that is for qualifying, but I don't know where these balances are on these trucks. I haven't seen much yet. I'm sure I'll get some better feedback once I see them run some laps, but that should be an interesting race. It should be a multi-group track.
Absolutely, and we are Green Flag Racing. Chase Greer brings us to the green flag, and there he goes. He's going to bring it in to turn number 1, and he has had a pretty good jump. He's got Mark Kincaid right there behind him, but he's got that 66 of Jared Stone right there on his outside. Coming out of turn number 2, let's see if these tires are going to hold the grip to the track. And it looks like all is good coming out of turn number 2, and there is still a fight for the lead, as Jared Stone has the lead as of right now, but Chase Greer is going to fight right back on that bottom side. Looks like the top line there, Stephen, it is going to have a good run off the corner, and they are going to be 3 wide. I'll let you take that.
Yeah, 3 wide back to 2 wide now. Obviously, Mark Kincaid running the bottom here. Oh, leader to the bottom, taking some air off the nose. He's going to get a little tight. 40 truck working the top. He gets loose. They're going to single file out here pretty quick. Tires are still cold here. It's going to take a few laps for these tires to come in. Everyone's still feeling out the trucks and seeing what they got. But 1 and 2 now, Jaron Stone and Mark Kincaid.
Absolutely. And all right, hold on. Had to get my ticker up. So yeah, it looks like that they are running that bottom line with Mark Kincaid right there. Curtis worked his way up into the 3rd position, and he has to have a good finish here, or he could be taken out of that top 4. And definitely finishing position is going to be the key here to move on to the championship round. But challenge for the lead already. Mark Kincaid is going to be able to take that number 1 spot away from Jared Stone. On the bottom line, he's going to do the slide job coming out of turn number 4, and he has got that position. What a great move that was coming out of turn number 4.
Yeah, Mark made a nice move there at the bottom. He got a really big run off of turn 2 last time. Now he gets a little tight in the middle of 1 and 2 running the top, and it allows Jared to get back in front of him. The top line does work here, but as you can see, it only takes one little slip up, and the guy running the bottom can easily gain a lot of ground cutting that racetrack off. So it does take quite a bit of balance and skill and patience to run that top side. But as you can see, one little mistake on the top allows the guy on the bottom to go right back by.
Absolutely, and my buddy Mark Bristow, he has joined the booth. Mark, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing great. I didn't want to interrupt. Steven was doing a good job.
Absolutely.
It's early. Give me some time. I'll mess it up, I promise. Now, as you can see, Mark here, another big run off of turn 2. Noted about it for the lead to the inside of Jared. Probably going to clear him on the bottom here, as he does. Jared's going to stay on the top. Jared's holding about 1 car length back there, now 2. So Mark clearly going to take the lead off of 4 here.
Yeah, absolutely. That slide job can kill the momentum from that top side. As you can see, that 66 had a lot of momentum as Mark Kincaid slid up the track, and now he's going to go way up the track, and it looks like somebody's already rubbed that outside wall. Mark, are you loaded into the track?
Yes, sir, I am.
When you do get a second, Richard, I'm having to go off of my regular cameras here. So if you can send me that link that shows me what you're looking at, that would be even better.
Oh, I did send you. You didn't get my email for the SDK?
I'll have to go find it.
Rookies.
Well, Mark, it looks like we do have a battle, and that's going to be for that second position. While Steven is checking his email or his Discord, make sure you check Discord there, because I did send you a link in Discord too there, Steven. While he is checking that, man, that battle for fourth now is starting to heat up. Looks like Chase Greer, he is going to be battling right back into the picture for that third position. He was on the pole, and now he's dropped 3 positions. Mark, I'll let you take this one.
All right. Well, it looks like, see, Chase is trying to find an open window. And I do not honestly think that Curtis is going to open that window and keep it open long enough for Chase to get in. Oh, and I was wrong.
Yeah, Curtis doing a really good job on that high line. Now, as far as taking tires, it looks like that high line is going to be the best line from my experience, depending on the track temperature, depending on the time of day. And there it goes, a slide job for that third position. Chase Greer was able to make that slide job happen off the bottom, but Curtis had a heck of a run. Look how close he got to that back bumper there, Mark. So he had a heck of a run. Go ahead.
He's still close to using that chrome horn. I mean, he really is. He is literally getting in that draft so he can shoot around him.
Yeah, absolutely. Using that slingshot, it will definitely help out. But Mark Kincaid, he is out front and leading this thing in that Ozark Chevrolet Silverado, and he has already broken out to about a 1 second lead over Jared Stone. Jared Stone, he's got about 0.3 of a second over Greer, but Greer and Ecker, this is the battle that I'm looking at. But don't count out that Zach Stevens Daytona Hydro Jet, because he looks like he is just back here watching all these battles right on his nose cam, and he is just watching these battles from the 19 and the 40, and the 40 is his teammate, so he's looking to capitalize, if they get to racing very hard and they use up their tires. Mark?
And another thing about these drivers I've learned, man, is they are really good with strategy. They're good at waiting back and seeing what's happening in the front. And then when you least expect it, they're going to shoot and try to get that first position.
Absolutely. And there we go with the flyby through 1 and 2. And here they come to turn number 3, and it is going to be still that Ford out front. And it looks like we got a little bit of a battle between Jared Stone and Chase Greer. It looks like Greer has caught up. He's going to look to the inside, not going to be able to get there this time, as that 66 has a run off the high line, and he's got about a half a truck on him coming to the start finish line. And coming into turn number 1 is still going to be that 66. Nice looking truck that is.
You're only saying that because you're biased, Richard. And then me personally, I'm looking at Chase Greer in the 40 because Doritos.
Well, going to the back of the pack, Steven, you having any luck, my friend?
I found the email. I just can't find I'm trying to get the link to work, and it's not working yet. I'm working on it.
All right.
It looks like they're all pretty single file toward the back, right after Curtis and Zach. Everybody's single file after that. It seems the only battles we really have at the moment are in the front.
Well, Mark, do you have your Video Ninja up? And, do you have a link for me, and I can go with our side-by-side? And we have a little bit of a challenge here from Billy Davison. Billy Davison working on the 33 of Marshall Johnson. Marshall Johnson up there on that high line in that TRD Power Toyota, and it looks like he is going to be able to get the run off to turn number 4. Coming in turn number 1, and Billy Davidson going to look down low in that Chevrolet. Not going to be able to get there, as that 33 has got that high side pretty much locked down and making moves. Let's see if he can catch up to Chris Allcar, which is only a few seconds ahead of him. He's about 1.2 seconds, now only about a second. So, Marshall Johnson is only about a 0.3 of a second. And he is pretty much working that high line, but Christopher Allcar, he's been pretty consistent where he runs. He gets into a little bit of trouble at certain tracks, but tonight it looks like that Ford F-150 is kind of dialed in. It looks like he's kind of hanging back, saving a little bit of tire, maybe saving a little bit of fuel, and like Mark said, using that strategy to maybe win this race tonight. Mark Stevens out there saying, let's go 47. Well, the 47 is going, and he looks like he has got that 19 of Curtis Ecker in his sights. and there is the distance between Ecker and Stevens is only about 4/10 of a second. It looks like Stevens is going to work that mid-high line, and it looks like the 66 is already going to be in trouble. He's already down on the apron, and is this going to bring out the caution? He is stopped on the track. Let's go back and see if we can take a look and see what happened. Did somebody get into him, or did he just... I'm gonna have to back that up. It looks like the 54 was out of shape a little bit. So it looks like he is running pretty good. He's on that top side. He's gonna look down to the bottom, and he jumped into the pits. I don't know exactly what happened to the 66. So there's nothing wrong with his truck. He just had to drop down. Hopefully everything is okay. You know, he may have had to park it for some personal reasons, but hopefully everything is okay at his home. But it looks like we're going to go back live.
I still need a live link, guys. Sorry. I did accept it, but I just can't find my way in there.
So go to the SDK Racing website and register your account. It should be under your email. Use your email to register. But I'll send you a link in just a second.
All right, I do have a link sent to you, sir.
All right. Just give me 1 second, folks. We are getting the side-by-side up and going, so you can have that view.
Is it southernbroadcastingnetwork.com?
Southern Broadcast Gaming. Southern Broadcast GN at Gmail.
All right, and it looks like the number 47 of Zach Stevens just passed the 19 of Chase Greer. That's what I'm watching right now. But looks like I need to go back. Oh, yeah, there's a 3-pack there right there.
All right, Mark, if you can take this for a second. I got you side by side, and I'm going to try to help Steven real quick.
All right, and we still have the number 54 of Mark Kincaid in the first position, with Chase Greer following about 3 car lengths right behind. Zach Stevens in third, Curtis Ecker in fourth, Christopher Alkire in fifth, Marshall Johnson in sixth, Nathan Lafayette in seventh, Jared Stone in eighth, and Billy Davidson in ninth. Me personally, I'm always a fan of watching the front of the pack, but I do like checking through and seeing, you know, who's going where. Mark Kincaid's in front with about a half-second lead over Chase Greer.
I was just about to call you.
Then you've got a 3-pack back there in the back with the number 33 of Marshall Johnson, followed by Christopher Alkire and Nathan Lafayette. And they are battling for the 5th position. And the number 40 of Chase Greer seems to have caught up to Mr. Kincaid. He's looking to find a way around to get into that first position. Go ahead and lock down the race right now. But Kincaid is, I don't think he wants to let that happen. Going to the high line to get a little bit of momentum and closing the window on Chase Greer. All right, Kincaid's going up on the high line again, building up that momentum, which I think is a good strategy. It really is. Chase Greer trying to take the low line around him. Don't know if he'll be able to get in that gap, but we will see. Nope, fell right back in behind him. And again, first position, we've got Mark Kincaid. Chase Greer, about 0.4 of a second behind him. Zach Stevens in third. Curtis Ecker in fourth. Marshall Johnson in fifth. Nathan Lafayette in sixth. Christopher Alkire in seventh. Jared Stone in eighth. And Billy Davidson in ninth. Oh, Chase Greer looks like he's trying to get a low line window on him. He may just get it. And Chase Greer is in the first position. Let's see if he can hold it. And doesn't look like it. That is a good battle going on. I am enjoying this. Chase Greer looks like he's back in second, but he is fighting hard for that first position. We're only at lap 28 of 130, so we're doing a pretty good job here at the start of the race. And look like you got Zach Stevens in the number 47, Curtis Ecker in the number 19, pulling up a two-wide pack for the third position. Marshall Johnson is running his way through the track. I think he's got a little bit of strategy going on, kind of watching the pack, see where they go, see who pits. Nathan Lafayette in sixth, Christopher Alkire in seventh, in the Navy number 43. Zach Stevens pulled a little bit away from Mr. Curtis Ecker. Chase and Mark Kincaid are still in a battle for the first position here. Mark Kincaid barely has a gap on him. It looks like, he might. So it looks like Mark went to pits. Chase Greer stays in that first position with Zach Stevens coming up in the second. Biggest mover of the race was 4 positions up from where he started. Curtis Ecker is going to be in third, up 2 positions from where he started. Marshall Johnson in fourth, up 4 positions from where he started. Mr. Kincaid and Christopher Alkire took to the pits. So Chase is out here kind of running his laps, getting everything done. Looks like Chase Greer also hitting the pit lane. Zach Stevens, Curtis Ecker as well. So Marshall Johnson is going to stay out. Go ahead and take up a couple of positions. Chase Greer is back off. Looks like Marshall Johnson and Nathan Lafayette went ahead and took pit. So Chase Greer is going to be probably making his way back to that first position. We will see. Mark Kincaid and Chase are still battling it out.
I'm back, guys. Looks like it's getting fun in here.
Little bit. Everybody went ahead and took a little pit stop. Go ahead and get some fuel. We've had some pretty elaborate green flag racing. Not a lot of cautions thrown out, if any, so far.
So, do you happen to know the amount of laps these guys have on fuel? What's their full fuel tank load? Do you happen to know?
I am not going to lie to you and tell you I know all of the details.
I'm just curious because I know that Kincaid there pitted pretty early. I would expect these guys to be able to run at least 40 laps on fuel. So I'm wondering if the fuel is not 100% on these trucks tonight. Maybe they might be a little less.
Well, I'm thinking, so Mark Kincaid came in at lap 30, so he might have been getting close to his pit stop or his pit cycle, and it looks like Greer, Stevens, and Ecker, they all went at 31. So Allgaier pitted a little bit early. So I'm gonna say probably that 30, 32, 33. I'm gonna say 33 to 34 mark.
Mitchell
Yeah, and that
Stevens
makes
is
a lot
saying
of
30
sense.
laps. They're saying they got 30 laps of fuel. So looks like the guys probably saved a little bit. The guys that made it to 30 and 31 did a good job of saving a little bit. So that puts some strategy in play for sure here, because if you got 30 laps of fuel, you're thinking 4 stops puts you at 120, right? That leaves 10 laps to go in the race. So if this does stay green, if anyone's being real conservative, if they could just save 2.5 laps extra a run, they could do this on one less stop than the guys that are pitting on every 30 laps. So that would be something to watch.
I would definitely agree with that.
And that is, again, like I always say, I love about their strategies, because the more you can either save fuel or save tires, you're not going to hit that pit near as much. Like Mark Kincaid hit it a lap earlier than almost everybody else, but he's still out front. So what he's doing is he is timing that, I think, very well.
Yeah, there's obviously there's advantages to pit first. It's easier to pit first when you're the leader on a track like Homestead that's really big. If you have a decent lead, you're not going to lose the lead pitting. You're not going to go, or you're going to lose the lead, but you're not going to go a lap down, right? That's the main thing. You're not going to go a lap down, so you don't have to worry about a caution coming out. You just pitted, caution comes out, you get trapped a lap down. Doesn't really happen here as the leader. So, depending on where the fuel's at, if those guys are really close at 30 laps, Mark's, obviously done his first pit stop at lap 30. He's probably thinking 30, 60, 90, 120, maybe a short stop for just a splash after that at some point. Or he pitted early. I don't know how many laps of fuel these guys got. If they've got 35 to 40 laps of fuel, he might be thinking pit early the first time around, and then I can run long the next two, 3 stops. We'll have to see how it plays out. But being the leader, it's much easier to pit. But being the first one that pits, if you have a decent lead, because you're not going to go a lap down, number one. Number two, when you come out, you're on fresh tires. So everyone that hasn't pitted yet, you're going to gain time on. And the only bad part about that is, the only downfall is anyone that waits 2, 3, 4 laps later, at some point they're going to start gaining ground at the end of a run, because they're going to have fresher tires at some point.
Well, Chris Isaac's out there in the chat. He says 30 to 33 laps of fuel at 65%.
That's interesting. That's very interesting, because 130 laps is a very odd number, right? If it were me, I would be thinking 32.5 to 33. I would be trying to stretch those fuel runs, especially if I think it's going to be a full green flag race. If I think there's going to be no cautions, I'm probably going to try to stretch that fuel, because if you stretch that fuel, that extra 2.5 to 3 laps per run, you only have to stop 3 times versus 4. So this is going to be interesting, because when Mark pitted as the leader, he brought everybody else down pit road with him within a lap or 2. So right now, as it stands, pretty much everyone's going to have to stop 3 more times. If anyone's saving drastically here, it could be interesting to see if someone can make it on 2 more stops versus 3, and possibly jump frog Mark here before the end of it, if there's no caution.
Absolutely. Well, that one Canadian out there saying the only time I'll cheer Zach on, and yeah, sorry I dropped the ball on that. I was trying to help Mr. Light out with his SDK, but we will figure that out later. But he has got mine on screen now. So very spread out
I didn't
field.
think I did too bad for my first go around by myself.
Oh no. So that is Ray Courtney, and he was talking about he needed some scoring. So I dropped the ball on that, not commentating. But a very spread out field.
Is there any stage breaks in this race, guys?
No, absolutely not.
Gotcha.
That is the Cup Series. I'd love to see a stage break. Whoever's race control, just throw a random caution out. Let's get them all back together.
See, that's just not fair because they've strategized on not having that stage break. See, well, you're just trying to throw a monkey wrench into the playfield, Barrett.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah. But we only have 7 trucks back on the track right now, and Christopher Alkire is going to be the last truck on the lead lap. Looks like we had 2 trucks retired. That's going to be Stone and Davidson. Looks like Christopher Alkire is about 25 seconds back away from the leader, and you can see the leader is actually coming out of turn number 2 right now. So the leader is only about a straightaway ahead, behind Christopher Alkire to put him a lap down. And then you got Nathan Lafayette. He is not too much further, ahead of Alkire. So, we could be seeing, if this thing goes green, we could see multiple trucks go a lap down. And I predict by the end of this race, 4 trucks on the lead lap.
But let's go back to the fuel pitting window. Can we pull that graph up again? Because I'm very curious if anyone stayed out to lap 33, or at least lap 32, because if they did, they do have a chance of doing this on one stop. Looks like Johnson and Lafayette, was that lap 32?
So Johnson pitted at 32, yes.
So that's very interesting. So Johnson and Lafayette right now, they have an opportunity, if they're saving any fuel at all, if they can go to lap 66, 65, 66, they have a chance to do this race on just 1 more stop after that, or 2 more stops. And it's going to be very interesting to see if they're saving any fuel. If they, I know I've always felt like in a race, if I didn't quite have the pace to lead the race, be up front. Ooh, Mark Kincaid pitting already. That is very interesting. Did Mark Kincaid hit the wall or have any damage?
No, it looks like he did a stop and go. He was in and out very quickly. So
so that was a fuel. That had to be a fuel deal. That's interesting.
Yeah, so he was in and out in 37 seconds. His actual pit stop was 8.17 seconds.
Okay, so what I think what just happened there, I think what Mark just did is he stopped, got enough fuel to do what I was talking about earlier, right?
Yep.
If you could do that, if you were saving enough fuel, if you only had 30 to 33 laps of fuel, if you put it every 32 to 33 laps, you could do it on 3 stops. He just took fuel only to make sure he only has to stop 2 more times. So basically, he added an extra stop for fuel, but he thinks it's going to stay green. So he's going to gain on these guys that don't do that. These guys that end up running their fuel out and don't save enough to do it on. If you didn't make it to lap 32 or 33 on the first run, you're not going to be able to do it on 2 more stops. You're going to have to stop an extra time. Mark went ahead and got it out of the way, and I actually think that's smart what he did. Mark did it while he still had fresher tires on the truck, so he's not going to give up as much ground to anybody on the racetrack, being the leader. And again, being the leader has its advantages. That's an example of that.
Yeah, because he was quite a distance out from Greer, and now he is only about I'd say, let's see, the leaders are last lap times. Let's look at the last lap times. So they're running about 34 seconds. So he is only about 4 seconds ahead of the leader of Chase Greer.
Yeah, I don't see that being an issue. Greer was keeping really good pace with Mark, but Mark was probably a tenth or two faster a lap here and there. If Mark didn't make a mistake, he was a tenth or two faster. When he did make a mistake, Greer was gaining on him a little bit. I do think I see the strategy that Mark has laid out now. He's now got enough fuel to do this on 2 more stops, and I think that was his plan all along. If this race ran green, these other guys, at some point, they're going to have to do what Mark did if they want to do this on 2 more stops. They're going to have to figure out a way to put enough fuel in that car to make up those 10 laps. Because nobody ran, other than Lafayette and Johnson, they're the only 2 that ran long enough that if they are saving enough every run, they can still do this on 2 stops.
Absolutely. And you're talking about last lap times. Mark Kincaid ran a 34.06, and Greer and Stevens, there are, Stevens has a little bit of, is right there matched with Mark Kincaid, but yeah, he is a lot faster than Greer. About 7
And part
seconds.
of that too, you got to remember, Mark Kincaid just went down pit road 3 laps ago, right? So his tires cooled off. I know he wasn't down there long, but they cooled off. Having cooler tires for a few laps does make a big difference on lap time.
Very good to know, and I appreciate you sharing that information with us. It's good to have a driver in the booth with us. Mark, take notes.
Oh, I am. I'm writing them down.
Well, we're gonna take the pit strategy off the screen, and it looks like Ray Courtney, can we fire Richard and have Mark and Amanda in the booth? Well, it's kind of hard to fire the owner.
Yeah. What is that about? You can't fire the one that literally created everything.
So that is a negative there, Ghost Rider. All right.
I mean, maybe we could put him on suspension, Ray.
Trying to freaking get rid of me. Can't fire me. Well, looks like the 43 is looking to go a lap down. Mark Kincaid did. Mark Kincaid's not the not the leader, but 43 is actually getting caught by the 40. It looks like Mark Kincaid was able to make himself around, so he is going to take over the 6th position. Get Nathan Lafayette next in the sights, about 8 seconds ahead of Mark Kincaid. Shouldn't be a problem, as we are here at lap 55 of 130, and we have not seen a caution yet. We saw the 66 retire. He had to stop on the bottom of the track. Maybe had an emergency or something happened, so hopefully everything's okay with that, but he did retire his truck, so therefore that did not bring out a caution. A suspension indefinitely. Wow. And
As we're having a nice close battle now for the lead, it looks like Stevens is closed up on Greer here. Don't know what lines are running. We haven't been watching them for a while, but Stevens
looks
has
like
definitely been closing the gap. I think Stevens is running the top side. Yep, Greer's running the bottom. And this is what I was talking about earlier. If you're very patient on that top, eventually that top does come in. It doesn't wear the right front out as much. And you get these really big runs off the corner like we saw earlier. And Kincaid took the lead from the 66. And as you can see, Greer's getting tight in the center here. Looks like he might be overdriving the corner just a little bit. But, and I don't know if you noticed, but Stevens is not running the top in 3 and 4, only the top in 1 and 2. And there's a reason for that. 3 and 4, for whatever reason at this racetrack, doesn't have as much grip on the top as it does in 1 and 2. So when you see guys running the top in one end and not the other, there is always a reason. And Zachary clearly understands this racetrack, because he understands that the top is not quite as fast in 3 and 4 as it is in 1 and 2.
yeah, so Zach Stevens is one of those drivers that we watch, and we watch here in the Truck Series, and he's also over there in 4 wide, and he's a very fast and competitive driver over there in 4 wide also. So he's very fun to watch, and like you said, he uses different lines, different strategies, and it definitely works for him. And that's one of the reasons why he is pretty much the top man in points. So great run by this number 47, and he's got quite a few viewers out there. We got 11 viewers out there on the stream. Appreciate y'all stopping by. We got Allcar going into the pits, so he is going to be he is going to give up his 6th position. Curtis Eckert has already made his pit, and he went 1 lap down. And here comes maybe the pass coming out of turn number 2 as they come out. That 40 truck, I think his tires are gone.
Well, I think I just heard on the radio, I think Zach Stevens is probably pitting this lap. I'm not sure about Greer, but I think you're going to see a pit very, very soon here. It could have been Greer that I heard, but somebody's about to pit, one of these two. These front two, one of these two is about to pit. I think it was Zach, but I could be wrong. Nope, they both stay out. So it must have been Johnson or Lafayette, I heard.
Lafayette coming down the backstretch. He is running 4th right now. Johnson coming out of turn number 4. He is not coming in the pit, so it may be Lafayette that's going to come down. That's the only one left. Nope, nobody coming in.
No, well, while they do that, Mark Kincaid has made up about 3.5 seconds from the time he pitted to right now by just taking fuel only. So he's looking. I'm not gonna look for him to pit until about lap 70 to 72, because that puts him in a 2-stop window. These other guys that pit in the next lap or 2, which they're going to have to because they're going to run out of fuel if they don't, they're going to have to make another extra stop. Mark Kincaid's already got that stop out of the way for that extra fuel. So I'm expecting the 40 and the 47 to pit this lap together more than likely.
And it looks like they are both down on the bottom side. Will they dive it in this time by here at lap 61? No, they're going to keep on going, and I believe Zach Stevens right now is going to be out there.
I can promise you, whenever that 40 pits, the 47 will follow. And if that's not the case, the 47 is going to try to early pit before the 40. Because it's one of those two I did hear on the radio, I'm pitting this lap, and they didn't pit. So there's a little cat and mouse game going on there in the front for sure.
Well, they are teammates, but they are competitors. They both want to win the championship. And let's see what's going on in the chat. I think Justin Bieber would be pretty nice. I don't know what's going on in the chat, but they're talking about Justin Bieber.
Yeah, I'm lost on that. Unless they want him to commentate, I don't know.
Well, I will say this. I think the two, obviously the two guys in the front right now, Greer and Stevens, are teammates, right? They're trying to save fuel together. They're working on a strategy when they want to pit. They're trying to stretch this as long as they can because they realize now that Mark has did what they probably should have thought about doing. Oh, here they come down pit road.
Down pit road.
About 2 laps late.
Almost looked
sideways. 2 laps late. Kincaid's going to have a big advantage here, and this is why. Kincaid now can do this on 2 more stops. And the guys that just pit, who was that just pit? Zach Stevens. Zach Stevens and Greer, when they pit, they still have to stop 2 more times. And when Mark stops again, he only has to stop 1 more time. Right now, he has a 1-stop advantage. Is he behind? Yes, on the racetrack. But he made up time on fresh tires. He chose to do his stop early to get that fuel he needed to make that extra pit stop go away. And right now, if it goes green the rest of the way with no cautions, Mark is going to have, I'm calling it now, if there are no cautions, Mark Kincaid is going to have a substantial lead before the end of this race.
Considering Chase Greer and Marshall Johnson just went ahead and hit pit lane, that is a very good assessment.
Nathan Lafayette, he's riding that bottom lane. Is he going to dive it in this time? And nope. So Nathan Lafayette, he is going to be able to work his way up to the front with Mark Kincaid only about what is it? A couple seconds back. So Mark Kincaid is coming for that top spot. Nathan Lafayette, he is trying to stretch it as far as he can, and there is that battle there for the first position. Mark Kincaid going to look to the outside, coming into turn number 3. He is going to ride that top lane. It looks like Nathan Lafayette is going to ride it down low, not going to give the leader any trouble or give Mark Kincaid any trouble, and he is going to stay out some more laps. So he is one of the drivers that pitted at lap 32. So you're right, Stephen. You know, he is on a very good pit stop
But don't forget,
strategy.
Mark Kincaid pitted between lap 32 and now. He chose to go down pit road as the leader with a big lead, and he took just 8 seconds of fuel. Now, that might not seem like a lot. It might not seem like a big deal, but right now it is. Because right now, Mark Kincaid is going to run this until at least lap 71, 72. By doing that, he only has to stop one more time. Everybody behind him, Zach Stevens, Eckert, Greer, Johnson, these guys have to stop 2 more times. He has to stop once, they have to stop twice. He is, and he did not help himself. I'm sitting here singing his praises, and he did not help himself with that. I hope he has his crash repair left, or it didn't hurt his truck. He is sitting in the perfect position right now. He does not need to be overdriving the truck. Get what the truck will give you. He is in the perfect scenario. He did what he needed to do. He got his fuel when he needed to. He didn't give up any time. He actually gained time by doing it. If he does this right, he's going to stop. I'm gonna say between laps 71 and 74, somewhere in there, he's gonna stop. He only has to stop one more time after that. The guys that just pitted, Zachary Stevens, Eckert, Greer, Johnson, those guys still have to stop 2 more times. Kincaid only has to stop 1 more time. So he is in the catbird seat if he does this right.
Well, speaking of that, if he only has to stop one more time after he makes this stop here in the next coming laps, that may put everybody a lap down except for him.
Well, it won't put him a lap down right away if he's really, really late. I don't think there'll be a lap down. Zachary Stevens, Ecker, and Greer, for sure, probably they'll be behind but not a lap down. But what he did was very smart. He decided to take his fuel early while the tires were still fresh. They weren't worn out. He took the fuel he needed to take in order to make that extra pit stop go away. These guys that haven't done that are going to have to make an extra stop, even if it's late in the race. They're going to have to stop at some point to take extra fuel. They can't stretch it that far. So Kincaid's doing everything he needs to do right now. He was very smart about the way he did it. He did it early, right? Caught everybody off guard. They probably didn't even know why he went down the road. Probably thought he had a problem. Right now, he's sitting in the catbird seat. Because if he pits in the next 3 laps, he can make this on 1 more stop. He's going to fall behind again, obviously, when he pits. But the rest of the field that's out there has to stop 2 more times. At that point, he only has to stop 1 more time. So I think he's done it right. He's been very sneaky about it, but I think he's done it right.
And he's pitting now, literally falling right into what you were talking about.
Lap 70. And that's going to allow Zach Stevens to take over the lead along with Curtis Acker. He is going to be sitting right there in second. Now the 00 right there behind him, that is going to be a lap down truck, and that is going to be Nathan Lafayette. And look at the run that 00 has on the 19. So those fresher tires on that 00 are definitely helping him out. Now Johnson, Greer is about 4 seconds back. I don't know if he had a little bit of problems on pit road or not, but he is way back there, about 4 seconds. You can see him coming out of turn number 4 right now. But
based on the amount of time that Greer is gaining per lap, I'm going to say that Zachary probably pitted early. Well, obviously he did, right? We saw him pit a lap or 2 earlier than Greer did. So just a lap or 2. When you're on really old tires here, say you run 30 laps, 1 or 2 laps earlier or later on tires pitting doesn't sound like a lot, but the tires fall off so far here, so far, you might be running a 30-second lap time at the start of the run versus a 32.5-second lap time at the end of a run. At the end of a run, if you pit a lap or 2 earlier, that's you're talking 2.5 or 5 seconds depending on when you pit. And Greer is gaining, looks like almost half a second to 3/4 of a second a lap on Ecker and Stevens. So I would say that he definitely pitted. Obviously, he did pit after Stevens did, and I think that's where you're going to see this big tire difference come into play for those 2.
Absolutely, and Curtis Ecker is going to take over the lead from Zach Stevens. Zach put up a pretty good battle for the lead, but he is going to fall back to second. And Curtis Ecker going to move up leading here at Homestead. Good to see that Southern Broadcast Gaming Network truck out front leading this thing. Is going to take a long shot to win, but he has got Mark Kincaid about 31 seconds back. But anything could happen as we still have a lot of laps to go. So hopefully Mark can keep on that strategy that he has, because that looks like a victory lane strategy. But caution could mess up any strategy that anybody has. So let's hope that we don't see that. But glad to see that number 19 out there leading this race.
Yeah, Ecker doing a good job. I didn't see when Ecker pitted, so I'm not sure what strategy he's on. Obviously on fresher tires, so he pitted before Greer and before Stevens. Doing a really good job here. Let's see where he pitted here.
Lap
Greer
55.
55. So not
Or
too
Greer.
much earlier.
Greer
Yeah,
pit.
not too.
Yeah, so about 9 laps.
9 laps. Yeah, so you see 9 laps is a big difference. But I think that put him back on the lead lap, I believe. Right? Oh no, Ecker's leader. Sorry.
Yeah, Ecker's the leader. So
Yeah,
he
no,
pitted.
Ecker's leader. So, but again, Ecker is in that position, the same spot that not as bad, but he's in the same position that Stevens and Greer are in. Right? He still has to stop 2 more times, but he's probably in a better position. The reason I say that, he's on fresher tires. Right? He knows he has to stop 2 more times, just like the guys behind him, Stevens and Greer. He can make up some ground on these guys for quite a while before he has to make his first stop of the 2 that he has left. There's a chance that he could leapfrog these guys, unless he's trying to stretch fuel. I don't know where his fuel's at, if he's saving fuel, whether he's not. But clearly he has a tire advantage. And now you see Zachary coming back, and maybe he heard me talking. Maybe he started saving right away. I don't know.
They do listen to the broadcast. And they're
I
like,
know
oh,
they do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I should do that. Thank you. so you give him the crew chief advice from the broadcast booth. That's pretty awesome. Zach Stevens did give the 19 a little bit of a challenge, a lap or so ago, but that 40 is coming now. He is down to probably around 2.5 seconds now. He was down to 2.7 seconds the last time the ticker was on his number. But now they have Christopher Alkire. He's going to be right there. He's going to be the last truck on the lead lap, and we'll go back full screen as we were with we were doing side by side with Mr. Mark there. And there is Christopher Alkire. We'll go to the tower. Christopher Alkire riding in the 7th. He's right there where he started this race, and we'll go to his gearbox cam or his bed cam, and you can see where those leaders are coming. And there is Chase Greer. He's about 2.5 seconds back here on lap 79. We got about 50 laps to go once they hit the start-finish line. That's how the Broadcast Gaming Network truck has a little bit of scrapes on the side of it, but no harm, no foul. Now this could create a little bit of distance between Ecker and Stevens, because now they have a lap truck in between them.
I think Stevens is going to dispose of the 43 pretty quick here. He's going to follow Ecker right through. Ooh.
Oh, Ecker getting a little bit tight.
Ecker got tight on it. Yeah, that's the problem. So 43 is trying not to lose a lap here. This you see this on Sundays every week, right? On Cup racing. The guy that's about to go a lap down is trying not to lose a lap. He's trying to give the leader room and run him hard, but he's costing the leader time. He just allowed Stevens to pull up on the back bumper by. Oh no! That's got to be a caution. That's got to be.
Caution.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, I was going to say that the admins have to throw a caution there. There's no other way around.
Well, if he's got that fast repair left, he definitely needs to use it. We'll go back.
Oh, and that is so awful for Mark. That is so awful for Kincaid, because he had this race in the bag if that goes green. Oh.
All right. Well, Mark, you got your replays ready. Where'd he go? Mark. All right. We'll go and take a look and find out exactly what happened there. And let's see if we can get the best angle we can. And it looks like the 43 just came off the wall a little bit. Doesn't look like we'll stop it right there. We'll go back just a little bit further. We'll try to find a different camera angle, because it looks like they were pretty much side by side. We'll stop it right there. Try to find the best camera angle right there.
So I just heard some talk about. I need a better angle. Can I get an angle from turn 1 looking at the front stretch? There we go.
So it looks like the 43 is coming down just a little bit. Very hard to tell.
Okay, so right there, what I see is some net code. Let me explain what I mean by net code. Go back to where we were. So what I see is the 43 comes down, but and the 19 is coming up, but there's a point where they stop. They're equal, right? Then I see the 43's truck turn a little left while there's still space between the 19 and the 43. So keep coming forward. No, go back to the front view where we're looking at the front of the trucks going in turn 1, like directly in front of them.
Let's see, what damn camera was that? Camera number 8.
And I'll explain what. Yeah, there we go. That's the view. So if you watch right here.
Yep,
right there.
All net
pause
code.
it. Yeah. Back it up just a second, and I'll explain what I'm talking about. Back it up a little bit. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Yep. Go. Keep going. Keep going. All right, stop. So play this slowly. And what you will notice is neither one of these trucks are turning up or down, right? 43 is not coming down. 19 is not coming up. And all of a sudden, the 43 is loose. And it comes down. That's called netcode, right? That is an absolute netcode right there. The 43 didn't mean to turn like that. Those guys were giving each other room. They're racing hard. Especially spread out on a track like this where everyone's just trying to do what they can to get what they can. That is 100% netcode. And it's a shame to see, those guys had almost a foot and a half between them. And if you back it up again, I'll play it in slow motion, or not slow motion. Actually, if you play it in fast motion, you'll see it if you're looking for it.
We're gonna ride on Zach Stevens' truck from that advantage. I want to see exactly what happened to his truck. And we'll go back one more time.
Go to his in-car. If you can go to his in-car, he definitely give a good view of that.
Yeah, absolutely. No contact.
No contact. 43 gets loose. Yeah, 100% netcode. I mean, that's part of iRacing. Obviously, iRacing does a really good job of trying to fix that stuff, but it does happen here and there. You hate to see it. And then, obviously, I think Zachary got on the brakes there trying to move up the track and got loose and hit the fence.
Oh, look at Chase Greer. He's going to go right on by.
Squeak through right there, I think he was eating a Dorito, and that's why he was able to escape that.
Well, we only have one lap left to go until it goes back green flag racing. And look who is out there leading this race for the first time tonight. That is going to be, I believe it's going to be Marshall Johnson and Nathan Lafayette. I'm not sure exactly which one came out of the pits, but it looks like Nathan Lafayette is being scored the leader right now. He's going to be starting on that outside lane. Looks like Mark Kincaid going to be starting right there in fourth position. Chase Greer right there in third. Are you back, Mark?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I was trying to get you to do a replay, but
I am so sorry. I had to step away for a second, and look what happened.
Yeah, I know, right? But pace car lights are out, and we are getting ready to go back green flag racing here at lap 86. So not a lot of racing left to go, and I think I was talking about a caution could really mess Mark Kincaid's.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Kincaid obviously did everything right there. Nothing you can do about that. That was a netcode deal. It wasn't like somebody did it on purpose. But Mark Kincaid still has the fastest truck. So I expect him to be back in the front here in about 15 laps.
Green flag.
Oh, green flag is out, and it looks like Nathan Lafayette did not get a really good start because Mark Kincaid gave him a little bit of a bump, and that may have caused a little bit of damage on the front end of that truck. And we'll go to his nose cam and see if he's got any damage. No, it looks pretty straight, so hopefully the handling of that truck will not go away because, like you said, he had one of the fastest trucks on the track. Then you have Zach Stevens. He's going to be right there battling for the third position is going to be the 00 on the outside. And Stevens on the inside. 40 of Chase Greer are going to be right there in second, battling Marshall Johnson for the lead. And here they come out of turn number 4, and it is going to be the 40 on the inside. Has about a half a truck until he can get to the lead, and he is going to be door to door as they come into turn number 1. Great job by that 40 getting out front really early. Going to use that bottom line, and he's going to try the slide job, and he completes it, but loses a little bit of space, and the 00 is going to be all in the wall, and he's going to lose a lot of ground with a lot of damage on the right side of that truck.
Third second here running 5th, or 6th, I'm sorry. Just looking on, hoping these guys wreck each other out so he can take this easy win. But 2x2 here in the front, Mark Kincaid, clearly with the fastest truck, trying to ride this out. He's patient. As you see, he passes the 40, almost clears the 33. 33 is going to have to run off the 2.
Mark Kincaid got a
And
little
he
bit
gets some
loose.
room. Nope, Mark Kincaid right to the top. 40 looking low on the 54. 54 is going to have to run off a 4 on the top with no mistakes. Zachary running the bottom. Big run off a 4 here. Clear. All clear. Zachary has got to look in his mirror because he's got some hope.
Absolutely, and that 40 is trying to work that bottom and trying to pull that slide job off like the 47 did just a few laps ago to take over the lead, but the 40 is not going to get there. It looks like the 47 is handling a little bit better than that 40, but here comes Mark Kincaid into turn number 3, and he is going to challenge for
that's
the
some
lead.
blocking there. Ooh, Zachary blocking on the bottom there. Obviously, Mark had a big run. Zachary blocked the bottom, killed his run. I'm not, Mark Kincaid, I'm surprised he didn't move him up there.
Mark, what do you see?
I'm watching the same thing. I figured it was some Home Alone stuff, like Kevin McAllister, which is Zach Stevens, keeps the window open just a little bit, hoping he'll take the bait. Oh, and he got in.
Yeah, finally, Mark obviously had a bigger runoff to that time, and that time there was no chance of Zachary closing the door or trying to close the door. And now that Mark has the lead again, I expect him to pull away. He's going to run on the top here. If he has a clean 1 and 2 with no mistakes, I expect him to have at least a 2 or 3 car length lead off exit.
Well, it looks like yeah, it looks
Greer
like
had a very nice 1 and 2. He stays right with him there. That's 2 drivers doing. Listen, it's hard to run top and it's hard to run bottom. Middle is the easiest way around here, but it is hard to be fast here if you're running bottom or top. If you do it right, it's fast. Both of those drivers are doing a really good job being fast on both top and bottom of the racetrack.
Well, Mark Kincaid was a lead. It was pretty much on a very good strategy. And
Kincaid just scraped
Mark's
the
in the
wall.
fence.
so that is going to hurt that truck just a little bit. We'll go and look. He doesn't look like he's got a little bit of wrinkle on the hood, but he's got Marshall Johnson. He is going to be right there to his inside, and he is going to be. He's got a tight race truck. He pushed up the track just a little bit, forcing Mark to go up a little bit more. And coming out of turn number 4, it is going to be that 54 trying to make his way back up to the second position where he was at. But it looks like these 2 teammates, they are going to be nose to tail coming into turn number 1, and out of turn number 2, it's going to be that 40 of Chase Greer once again out front as he's starting on the pole. And the 2 biggest movers are going to be Marshall Johnson and Zachary Stevens up 4 positions. Got Miles Stevens out there saying, a little late. Get him, Zach. Get him, Zach.
Well, right now what I see is Mark Kincaid did not kill his truck right there. He didn't have much right front fender damage, so he still had. I do still think he has a fastest truck. Based on fuel, everyone's got to stop one more time. If I were Mark Kincaid, I would be the first one down pit road at some point. Once I knew I could make it on fuel, I'm the first one down pit road, tires, fuel, to make sure I gain as much time as possible with the guys in front.
Well, speaking of fuel, I'm back here, I'm going to look at the 19 real quick. Now, we saw him earlier. He's about 7 seconds back from the leaders. I think he's back here saving a little bit of go-go juice. Let's look at his lap time.
Let's look at his last pit stop. Did he top off before the green flag?
So last pit stop is going to be a lap 82, right there along with everybody else. So he's on the same strategy, but look at his lap times. He's at a 34.85. So he is running almost a second slower than the leaders. So he's back here saving a little bit of fuel.
Interesting. What was his last lap of pit? I can't read it on the graph you got there.
So lap 82.
82.
Yep. And Stevens and Greer, 82.
48. That's interesting. Not sure why he's saving that much, unless he plans to do just a splash of gas. If he's planning on a splash of gas, I can understand saving the time. But if you give up too much time on the racetrack, you're never going to make it back up.
Now, interesting enough, look at Nathan Lafayette. Now, he stayed out. He pitted last at lap 66. So that is going to be a very interesting pit strategy. So he's on the oldest tires of the bunch. He pitted at lap 66, so he's planning on going in, here very soon. That's going to be his last pit stop. I say he's going to pit up.
I expect the double zero on 99 or 100.
Yes.
He decided to maintain track position, to not give up much time to the leaders. And it's actually a good thing because he's going to be able to run it out on fuel. As you see, Stevens and Greer and Kincaid here all within a second, 1.1 seconds. Mark still has the fastest truck. He's just trying to figure out how to work the air around the racetrack. When he hits the top lane right, he is the fastest truck by far. It has a little bit of damage, so if he still has his fast repair, which I expect he does, if I were him in his situation right now, I know everyone's got to stop one more time. I'm thinking to myself, how many tire sets do I have left? If he has 2 left, it's an easy decision. It's the first one down pit road. If I only have 1 left, and there's a late race caution, I need to still have wear left on my tires to have a chance with the guys that have an extra set. So if I'm him, if he's maintaining, which he is, he's still within 1.2 of the leader, right on second place. If he doesn't give up more than 3 to 4 tenths over the next 2 or 3 laps to the leader, I would stay out a little bit. If he starts giving up 1, 2, 3 tenths a lap to the leader, I'd be right down pit road. Because if he goes down pit road at that point and it goes green, he's going to force the 40 Dorito truck to go down pit road.
Absolutely. Well, 100 laps now, and that double zero, let's go check on and see where he's at. He is still out there on track, so he's not coming in this time. Let's see where Curtis Ecker is at. He is still going to be back here in a 6th. Looks like he is still just riding it out where he's at. Nathan Lafayette waiting on him to bring his truck down pit road, but it's not going to be this time. Zach Stevens and Mark Kincaid still running nose to tail. Not too much distance between those 2 trucks. I'd say maybe about a half a second, maybe about 0.3 at the least. Mark Kincaid working that lower line. Looks like Zach Stevens is going to arc that corner down to the bottom, and he is going to be able to keep that position with a pretty good run off a turn. What is that? Turn number 4. Nathan Lafayette now in the pits here in lap 102.
Yeah, so right now Mark is evaluating how much damage he has, right? He's trying to see how much time am I losing to the leader? How much damage do I have? When do I need to pit to still gain an advantage? Because he knows the 40. Mark's been the leader a lot of this race. He knows the advantages of being a leader. The 40 doesn't. Greer is just now the leader. So Mark is going to evaluate how much time am I losing to the leaders. When do I need to pit, use that fast repair, gain as much as I can on those fresh tires to get a big enough lead that I don't think they're going to be able to catch me, depending on how many laps they get behind me.
Yeah, Greer has worked himself out to a 1.8 second lead, now 1.6. He's still looking to be, not the fastest truck on the racetrack. You still got Mark Kincaid back there. Actually, no, he is the fastest truck on the racetrack. He ran a 34.4 last time by, and it looks like everybody else behind him, it looks like Kincaid is going to be able to take over a second position from Zach Stevens because everybody is coming down pit road. Curtis Ecker is in. Marshall Johnson is in. Zach Stevens is in. So that's gonna leave. Chase Greer and Kincaid out there on the track.
So right now, Zach Johnson just made Greer and Kincaid make a decision. Zach Stevens. If Greer and Kincaid does not pit soon, there goes Kincaid. Yes, absolutely, brought him in.
And Zach Stevens.
If Greer doesn't pit in the next 2 to 3 laps, I'd be very surprised because Zach Stevens is going to be ahead of him after pit stops with no mistakes, just based on tire wear alone.
Absolutely. Well, Mark Kincaid is bringing his truck down pit road. Can he make the stop with no mistakes? He's in the box. All right, we'll catch up back up to our leader, see what he's going to do. Everybody has now made their pit stops. Here he comes out of turn number 4, and he is going to fly but right on by the flag stand once again. So 25 laps to go, and that 40 is elected to stay out. Mark Kincaid is bringing his truck out now. You got Christopher Alkire working his way up to second position. Now he has been out, and now Christopher Alkire has been on the track for a few laps, but he is moving up to the second position, along with Zach Stevens moving up to third. Mark Kincaid dropping to 5th after those pit stops. There you see the 00. He's going to work his way around. 00 was one of the first ones in at lap 102.
Yeah, I think this is a mistake by Greer. I think Greer is staying out too long. Oh, there he is. Yep, there he is. This is going to be interesting to see where Alkire and Stevens come out here. I do think if Stevens is disposed quickly there, I think Stevens is probably going to have the lead. If he's not in the lead, he's going to be on the bumper of Greer when Greer comes off pit road.
And I'll go side by side and catch Greer as we are side by side. Mark is following along. Oh my goodness! And there's a caution.
Oh no!
And who was that? Mark Kincaid showing that
Mark
he
Kincaid,
crashed.
yep.
Mark, why aren't you using SDK? All right, we'll go take a look at our replay and see what happened to Mark Kincaid. And it looks like that truck just broke loose on those fresh tires and went straight to the wall. He's going to try to correct it, and he's going to take a lot of right side damage to that truck. That is definitely going to...
Yeah, I think Mark there was just, he knew what he had to do, right? He knew he pitted at the right time. He knew how to make up some time on Greer. I think he just was overdriving the truck a little bit. Got a little freer than he expected. When you drive the high side of a lot of people don't realize when you drive the high side of this racetrack versus the bottom, you have no room for error. When you get loose, you have no room to let the truck slide up the track, hold on to it, and correct it. When you're on the bottom, you have the entire lane, 4 lanes from the bottom white line to the wall to let it get loose and slide up the track and hold on to it. And I think he was just really trying to correct it really quick and not hit the fence, and unfortunately he did. Don't know where their tire situation is. I don't know where he's at on his fast repairs, if he has one left or not. We're going to find out real quick, though.
Absolutely. Well, Mark Kincaid is going to be... Oh, it looks like he is disconnected because he is not showing on the track. Yeah, he is showing out. So, second caution of the night, and Chase Greer is going to be out here leading this thing.
Well, Chase Greer obviously just inherited the lead with a lucky caution. I don't think anybody has any tires left. So I'm going to imagine that most people are staying out here other than maybe Ecker and Alkire.
Well, while we got a second, let's go ahead and bring our race leader up and see how he's feeling with 22 laps to go. Chase, this is Richard, Stephen, and Mark in the booth. You got a copy?
Gotcha. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. It looks like that Doritos number 40 is, out here making some laps. That caution came out with you in the pits. Tell us how you're feeling about the rest of the race. You got 22 laps to go. What's that 40 got for everybody?
No, feeling pretty good. Should have at least 1 or 2 lap pressure tires on everybody behind me. Just been riding the bottom. I think I may have to run the high side in 1 and 2 a little bit more, but I don't know. It's still 22 laps. Might want to save a little bit on the bottom, but feeling pretty good right now.
Well, before that first caution came out, everybody was thinking it was going to go green. It looked like everybody had their own little pit strategies going on, but caution threw a wrench in those gears and it bunched everybody back up. But that Doritos Toyota Tundra looks really fast out here, and we wish you luck through the rest of the race. Steven, you got anything, or Mark?
No, sir. He think he's doing a good job tonight.
No, you're doing a great job. I was just curious. I know Mark. You guys saw Mark and Kate go down pit road really early there, early in the race, and we did the math upstairs, and it looked like he was going to have one less stop than you guys at the end. Did you figure that out, or did you not know what was going on, or did you have a plan for it?
Nah, whenever he pitted, I assumed he was basically I could save. I think at the end I had 65 out of 130, so I knew if I just replayed what I did before, I was saving a little bit because I think he was running wide open on the outside. So I was gonna. That's why we were backing up so much, as I was saving. So I think I was gonna make it, and then I was just sort of watching how fast he was catching me. So I sort of figured out what he was trying to do, but I think we had it cut off. But you never know, we could have run short.
Yeah, we were curious. We were talking about it in the booth, and he was going to make it on one more stop there at the end if there hadn't been a caution. So we were curious of what you guys were thinking, if you'd realized what he did. But you guys are doing a good job. You obviously managed your race the best. You came off pit road last. Happened to get a caution at the right time. You have the freshest tires. You have it in your hands. Don't let us down.
Have a good one, man. All right, green flag is about to fly one more time. Well, maybe one more time. It might fly a couple more times, but the green flag is out. And it looks like that 40 got a really good jump on that restart. Got Zach Stevens right there in a second. We're not interviewing anymore. I'll put that on the screen. And look at Nathan Lafayette. He has worked his way up to third. This would be a really good finish for this 00 Nathan Lafayette. We see him each and every week. Now he's got Marshall Johnson. He is going to be battling to the inside as they are coming out of turn number 4.
Green flag.
Oh, wait a minute. Why is it just now saying green flag?
I am not sure.
They were racing, right?
I was a little worried there too.
I was like, wait a minute. That's a fast-paced lap right there. But 19 laps left to go. It looks like Marshall Johnson was able to take over the third position from Nathan Lafayette. But look who it is. It's Mr. Curtis Ecker. He is working his way up to the 4th position. And it looks like his strategy got a little bit messed up too, as he looks like he was trying to save a little bit. Now he is going to be moving up to 3rd, battling that 33 on the inside, coming out of turn number 2. And there the lead is heating up as the 47 is going to work his way into the top spot. See if we can get a little better look at this. Curtis Ecker working on that bottom lane. He is going to be able to overtake. 47 overtakes the lead from the 40. Those two are teammates, so it's just, that is, I don't know, I'd probably be my teammate anyhow. And it looks like we want to go 3 wide. It looks like the 00, the 33, and the 19 are going to go 3 wide coming out of turn number 2. That is a battle and a half right there. And it looks like the 00 backed out, and he is going to drop back behind the 19 and the 33. But what a battle that was with 17 laps to go. Christopher Allgaier, he is going to wrap up the top 6. We only have 6 trucks on the track. And so far, these top 2 are going to be breaking away to about a second over Curtis Ecker. Mark, I haven't heard from you very much. Let's hear what you got. We'll go side
Again,
by
it's
side.
got the lead right now. Final put it on Greer is now battling side by side with his teammate for the lead on the bottom. Had a really big run off of turn 2. And he takes the lead. Zachary right on his bumper, 2, 3, and 4. Yep. Greer has the fresher tires, so let's see if he can put it to his advantage. Both to the bottom here. I'm surprised Zachary didn't go back to the top. And there you go. Watch. Zach's going to get a little tight here. Greer's going to increase his lead. Greer is doing exactly what he needs to do. He is making sure he puts air on the front nose of his teammate to make him tight. Both going in the bottom here. Greer a little higher. Greer's going to come off a little lower after he gets that really nice rotation in the center. 4 car lengths back is his teammate. Still right there. A lot of laps left. 14 laps. Let's see what happens here. Does he go back? Yes. His teammate goes right back to the top of the track. 40 back to the bottom. 40's got fresher tires. He can make that bottom work. Now a 6 car length lead. But Stevens has a little bit of a run on exit. Now with the draft, he's going to close that gap a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a battle between teammates, and they are pretty much, even though they are battling, the teammates 1.5 seconds above or ahead of Curtis Ecker. So he is actually dropping back just a little bit now, 1.2 seconds back to Zach Stevens. So Curtis Ecker does have a pretty good chance, but he has got his mirror full of that 33, and he is waiting for that 33 to fall off as the 33 is looking to the inside of the 19. And coming into turn number 3, it is going to be a side-by-side battle, and it looks like the 33 is going to be able to make the pass. Now it looks like the 33 did get a little bit tight. He's going to push up the racetrack coming out of turn number 4. That 19 is going to be to the inside, and we are going to be side-by-side battling once again for the 3rd position. This is what a great battle this is, and I wonder how long it's going to last. One of those trucks is going to get tight and probably might be catastrophic for the other, but what a great battle this is coming down the backstretch.
These guys are professionals. They're doing it right. Ecker giving 33 room. Johnson giving him room. And Johnson finally clears him. Ecker's still going to run the bottom here. It's all about getting that power down. You're lacking grip, especially on older tires. You're trying to get the power down as soon as you can. You see 33, the big run on exit. Johnson now between the Ecker and Stevens. There's quite a bit of a gap there. And as you can see up front out of that view, Stevens is running the top. Greer's running the bottom. 10 to go when we get to the line. Stevens is trying to move around the racetrack and find a way to catch Greer here. He'll find that if he runs the top, he will get runs. But with those fresher tires that Greer has, he can get a better run through the center, able to carry more momentum.
It looks like the track conditions are changing as, Stevens' truck looks like it stepped out just a little bit coming off of turn number 4. Now he's going to move way up to the high line and see if he can get this run off of turn number 2. Will he be able to close that gap? He's about 7/10 of a second back, and he does get a pretty good run. He did close up that gap of maybe about 1/10 of a second, so maybe that's a line that he's going to have to run. Now he's going to work to the bottom coming into turn number 3, and out of turn number 4. He got a little bit loose last lap. Let's see if he can hold that power down this time, and he does. So really good run on that 47 this time by as he's reducing that time.
Yeah, right now it's all about momentum. It's all about whoever can control their truck best on entry, center, and exit. Keep the truck straight. Get what you can out of entry without making the truck push. Getting back to the throttle early without making the truck slide, and then that forward drive off. These guys are both doing a really good job of that. Obviously, they're pulling away from 3rd.
All right, Mark, what you got, man? We're side by side. What you looking at? Where'd he go?
Looking at the Marshall Johnson and Curtis Ecker, 33 and 19, little battle going on for the 3rd position.
Yeah, they've been running right there, and I think what Curtis is doing, and I know you've been watching quite a bit, Mark. Do you think Curtis is pretty much just biding his time, waiting for those laps to wind down, putting a little bit of pressure on that 33?
And honestly, that's a good strategy, and I think that's where I would go with it.
I think I would too. Just put a little bit of pressure on him, make him make a mistake, make him use up those tires real quick, and when that last lap comes up, make the move that I'm gonna make. Either make it or break it. That's how I see it. Christopher Alkire, he is going to be way back in the back, but he's going to be able to bring home a sixth place position here tonight. Nathan Lafayette still, that's not Nathan Lafayette. He is pretty much riding in the sixth, and like Stephen was saying, those older tires, they are definitely playing a part in where these guys are running. 6 laps to go at the line, and it is pretty much an all Greer show. He has pretty much got it locked down if he can stay out front of that 47. 47 may be saving what he has, but we shall find out as we are going to come to 5 laps to go once they cross that start-finish line.
Right now, Stevens is running the same line as Greer. Stevens needs to change up his line. He needs to go to the top, all the way against the wall, or all the way to the bottom. He needs to change something because he's running the same line Stevens is, and he's not gaining ground. So if he keeps doing that, he's not going to gain anything. He's been doing a good job up until the last 2 laps. And now if he sees he's losing ground, he needs to change it up. Try the top, try the bottom, change your entry, change your exit, something to try to gain some ground.
Absolutely, and we're going to look at the points right here, and it looks like this could be part of his strategy. Zach Stevens is going to be right there, sitting number 1 in the points. Marshall Johnson is going to be second. Mark Kincaid is going to be third, but Billy Davidson and Chase Greer are going to be fourth. Now, if Chase Greer gets a win here, and this could be a teammate strategy, Chase Greer gets a win here, that's going to automatically move him probably up to the second position, and lock him into the round, into the final round next week. What y'all think about that?
Well, Zachary obviously has a big advantage of points. So right now he's not thinking points; he's thinking win, right?
Yep.
And that's what I was getting back to earlier. If it were me, I'd be scrubbing the fence, trying to find some speed to win this race, right? Who cares if I have a bad points day? If I lose a spot or two, I'm up there hitting the apron or finding the fence on the top, trying to find some speed. The guys that are on the bubble, those are the guys you got to watch for points. Those are the guys who are trying to find every ounce of speed just for a spot. They're not going to chance it, right? Especially if they're right there on the edge. Zachary needs to be thinking, I'm in the championship. I need to win this race. I want to win this race. I don't care about points. I need to be up there on the top, bottom, just moving around, trying to find some speed.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. And looks like I got a little bit of my stuff. Well, we are coming down to the final lap, and it is Chase Greer out front by 2.9 seconds ahead of Zachary Stevens. Marshall Johnson still working in the third position. Curtis Ecker, he is going to be right there in fourth place. He has lost a lot of ground. He's got Nathan Lafayette right there behind him, and Christopher Alkire behind them. So we're going to follow along with our leader. He is now broken out to about 3.3 seconds. So this is going to be a Chase Greer show here tonight. He is going to bring home the checkered flag. His truck will be going to victory lane. It looks like Zachary Stevens will be finishing in second. Marshall Johnson finishing in third. Great job by that 33. And the number 19 of Curtis Ecker is going to be finishing out fourth. Nathan Lafayette going to finish out fifth as he slides it through the grass, does a few donuts, cuts a little bit of that grass, and the 43 of Christopher Alkire is going to be sixth. Mark Kincaid going to finish out seventh. He disconnected. Oh, a little bit of contact right after the race. Jared Stone going to finish eighth, and Billy Davidson going to finish off ninth. Mark Stevens out there in the chat saying, good job, 47. So, what a great race. I mean, a couple cautions, but a couple strategies went out the window, and a mess up that brought out one of the cautions pretty much costed a driver a win. All right, just give us a few moments and we'll get everybody in the waiting room and get them their interview. So give us 1 second. We'll be right back.
Are you a veteran or currently serving? Or perhaps you're a civilian that has a veteran in your life? We want to stack up with you. StackUp.org brings both veterans and civilians together through a shared love of gaming. StackUp serves not only active duty troops and veterans in the U.S., but also our allies throughout the world. We do this through 4 primary programs. Supply crates, giant boxes of the latest in games and gear sent to active duty troops and veterans to raise morale, build camaraderie, and help combat post-traumatic stress. Air assaults, where we fly deserving veterans to life-changing gaming and geek culture events. The Stacks, our local volunteer teams coming together to support military personnel around their community. And our Stop Squad, Stack Up suicide awareness and mental health support team. Our trained volunteers are on call 24/7 if you're looking to talk with someone about your problems. We're here to help. Please reach out to us through StackUp.org to find out how we can support you or the veteran in your life today.
All right, and we are back, and we're about to pull in Mr. Marshall Johnson for his third place finish interview. Marshall, this is Mark Stevens, and Mark in the booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Take it away, Mark.
All right, Marshall, that was a good race tonight, buddy. What was your strategy?
Well, my strategy this week was the same as which last week I got the win. Kind of went green flag the whole way, so fuel mileage played a role, and not running as fast as the truck wanted to, but watching that fuel. And I was doing the same thing tonight, and it looked like it was going to play out, but then we started getting cautions, and as soon as that happened, new strategy was in play.
All right, so what was the new strategy when we started getting the cautions thrown out?
Yeah, so that last set of cautions, I was dividing it. I wanted to get to 101, which would give me a 29 lap run on my tires. So nobody could make it on fuel mileage at that point. And I wasn't quite sure where everybody's tire situation was, but I was going to take my last set with like 29 to go. I was hoping that others had already used their last set, but talking to Chase and Zach, that they didn't. They were kind of on that same strategy of taking tires, really one of the last cautions we had, and they were just faster.
All right, and speed does play a good part in it, but strategy definitely could be a winner. So being on the podium, man, third place finish, that's a really good finish to here at Miami. So you get all the shout outs you want tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's back-to-back weeks that I get to talk to you guys. So when you're talking to the radio guys, you must have had a good finish. So I appreciate that. Want to give a shout out to Curtis Ecker. We raced hard, or at least I thought so. That last set of green flag laps, and we both gave each other enough room. Matter of fact, one time I was scraping the wall, and he gave me plenty of room. So really want to give him a kudos for the safe, all the room.
Well, absolutely. You are also the biggest mover of the race. You are up 5 positions from where you started, but what a great run from that 33 Coke Zero Sugar Toyota. But, man, we're going to let you get down there and celebrate a little bit. We appreciate you stopping by. 2 for 2. Let's see how you do in the points next week, and hopefully you will be above that in that top 4, so to advance, hopefully.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I think the next race is for all the marbles, if you will. So hopefully we can pull out a win.
Absolutely. Where are y'all next week? That is going to be an interesting
Chicago.
race. Chicago. Ooh. Hopefully that's not the road course, because it doesn't say Chicago land.
No, I wouldn't even unload the truck if it was a road course.
Well, all right, Marshall. Well, good run here tonight. Congratulations on that third place finish and being the biggest mover. We'll let you get down there and celebrate just a little bit more, and we will catch you next week for the final race.
Thank you guys again. Thanks for what you do.
We appreciate that. All right, well, it is time to bring up Mr. Zach Stevens for the family reunion. Zach, this is Richard Mark and Steven up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Take it away, Mr. Steven.
So, buddy, you had a good night. You had a good night tonight. Obviously, some strategy was playing out there. I'm very curious. Most of you guys decided to run 30 to 32 laps on fuel. Mark obviously pitted early there in that second run. We kind of did the math upstairs, realized that he was going to do this on 2 more stops. You guys were going to have to stop 3 more times. And without a caution, that was probably going to be the right call. Did you guys take that into account to what you were doing? Or did you just hope for a caution and keep doing what you were doing with the teammate with Greer?
Yeah, we were hoping it was going to go green the whole time. We were confident we could save enough to make it, and it was looking that way until that caution came out. So we were pretty bummed out the caution came out. But I didn't take my last set when the caution did come out. We kind of ran around for a few more laps before we could make that last stop, and I made my stop, and then that final caution came out, and Chase, he was a little bit better in 1 and 2. I could keep up with him in 3 and 4, but after a while my tires just fell off. So it was fun racing with him there for a little bit after the restart. We were going back and forth a couple laps, but it was a lot of fun.
That's interesting to hear. So you and your teammate, you guys did have enough fuel to make it on 2 more stops.
Yeah, we were
after lap 34.
Yeah, we were gonna be good. We saved enough that second stint, and we were doing the same thing for that third one when the caution came out.
Very nice. Well, you guys obviously did a good job of saving. Even with the caution, obviously put you guys back out front. You had tires, your teammate had tires, but unfortunately, your teammate came out right when the caution came out. So he had 2 to 3 lap better tires. Do you think that was the difference?
Nah, not really. I mean, it might have made a little difference there, kind of midway point, but overall, he was better tonight, I think, especially in 1 and 2. I didn't get no practice before the race. I got off work and came straight to the race. So I was trying to figure out 1 and 2 for most part of the race, but I think he would have been better either way. He had a really good 1 and 2.
Yeah, we did see you gaining on him a little bit in 3 and 4. 1 and 2, obviously, he was gaining a little on you. Do you think that with any more practice time or even just maybe a longer run in that race, you could have possibly worked on something to help that against him? Because your teammate was very fast all night, but he was very conservative too. He showed his speed when he needed to, and then there was times that he was conservative. I know you didn't get much practice, and I don't know how much practice he got, but as racers, we all know with more practice we get better. Do you think there was anything that you could have learned in that short stint after the second pit stop that could have allowed you to be up there with him at the end, other than the fresher tires you had?
Oh yeah, I'm sure I could have. We worked well together either way. Everything that I needed to know going into this race, he told me with his little practice that he got before the race. But I'm sure with a little bit more practice, I could have been a little bit closer. But me and him's got similar driving styles. Uh, we're very similar on the track and everything the way we race. So either way, I think we probably would have been closer. A little bit more practice, we probably would have both benefited a little bit. So either way, it would have been a toss up maybe, but he was just better tonight. He definitely deserved to win. We're both just happy to move on to the final round. So it was a lot of fun though. Had a lot of fun. I like Homestead a lot.
Well, give a shout out to your sponsors, your teammates, whatever you'd like to do.
Yeah, man. Just thank Daytona Hydrojet for being on the car like always. 4 guys racing tonight. Everybody up in the booth, Old Glory for having us. Want to thank my teammate for the help on the track tonight. It definitely helped getting a second place finish. I needed it to move on. So all in all, good race. Ready to get to Chicagoland next week.
Well, from what we've seen, it was just Chicago. We don't know if it's Chicagoland or Chicago Road.
I hope it's Chicagoland. I hope they wouldn't end it on the road.
Well, congratulations once again, Zach. We'll let you get down there and bring your teammate up, and we'll catch you next week for Chicago.
All right, appreciate it, man. Y'all have a good one.
You too. Oh, I put him in race control. Oh, oops, wrong one. All right, Mr. Chase Greer, you are the winner of tonight's race. Man, tell us how you are feeling bringing home the victory here at Homestead, Miami.
Feeling good, man. Just hopefully I can take this somewhat good momentum into Chicagoland next week and hopefully win the chip.
Well, Team 4 Wide has been definitely had that momentum pretty much each and every week. We have seen that 40 truck and that 47, out front almost at every single race. And now you're going to bring home, the victory just before the final round next week at Chicagoland. Man, that's got to be a really good feeling. And, you led a lot of laps tonight. Chicagoland is not an easy track, but it's not a hard track either. But I'll let you talk a little bit about your race here tonight. We talked to you, just at one of the cautions, and that caution came out just at the right time as you were just about ready to leave pits. It didn't put you a lap down, or you didn't even lose position. But tell us how fast that truck was after you came out of that pit and went back green flag racing.
I think I gave y'all a little excitement. I let Zach get past me just so y'all have something to talk about. I'm just kidding. No. Screwed up the first couple laps. Just missed my braking point into one, and then finally when I started getting the rhythm back, was just sort of conserving, trying to stay behind him. Got a good run off of two, and was able to pass him again. And I felt like I had 1 and 2 down better. Just wasn't trying to use the tires on the outside, and I was just able to bring it home, not really use up the car too much. And so, yeah, it was a good run.
Definitely was. Between driving and doing a little bit of crew chiefing for your teammate there, he said that you were definitely helping him out with everything that you've learned from this track. What an awesome job you've done behind the wheel and crew chiefing. So you brought home a Team 4 Wide, first and second place finish. That's definitely going to hopefully move y'all both on to the Final Four, which I do believe it will. And those points should be out very, very shortly. But great job from that number 40. Can't wait to see what Team 4Y can do at Chicagoland. Started on the pole and finished on the pole. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. I wish I would have known he talked good about me, then I wouldn't jokingly talk smack. But nah. Thanks to him, he was good. We were just trying to save. And shout out to probably my mother-in-law's watching, everybody who watches. It was a good race, and thanks for broadcasting, everybody.
Absolutely. Well, we'll let you get back down to Mr. Stevens and celebrate a little bit more. Can't wait to see what you can do next week, and we will definitely see you on Sunday.
Y'all have a good night.
You too. All right, well, Steven, it looks like we lost Mark, but man, what a great run it has been for tonight. Pretty much a lot of green flag racing. We've seen 2 cautions fly, but man, what you got for closing?
What's next week?
Next week is Chicago.
Well, looking forward to another good race with some good drivers. Expect some special shows next week. I'm expecting some big name drivers to just randomly pop in, maybe make it a 15 to 20 truck race, and it should be a lot of fun. And I'm not going to name names. Let's just say they're of the NASCAR avenue.
Well, that would actually be really, really awesome. Definitely would be really awesome. But that will be next week, so make sure y'all tune in to the broadcast and see who is going to be joining us on the track at Chicago. it's going to be definitely a very fun race. Add some trucks to the field and give some of these guys a little run for their money, especially if they're from the NASCAR side of things. But Steven, thank you. I really appreciate you and Mark joining me in the booth. It's been really fun. You can join me anytime. But we're going to call this broadcast a night. So we hope everybody at home enjoyed the broadcast. We will see y'all next week for Chicago. Y'all take care. Enjoy the rest of your work week. Thank you for joining us tonight. God bless.